Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Abilene People, our podcast here on BigCountryHomepage.com, where we talk to Abilene's most interesting people. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Carlos Rosado. How are you?
Yeah, we're here with me. I'm doing all right, Danny. I'm doing fun. Finally, I've always wanted to be on one of these. And since we're recording this on Veterans Day, I want to shout out my dad. He served in the U.S. Army, so love my dad. Dad, if you're watching this, appreciate you for everything you've done for me. But
Well, I guarantee you he's going to watch it, especially when you text him and say, hey, Dad, I gave you a shout out on Veterans Day.
I hope so. Yeah, I'll definitely send this to him.
So let me ask you this, Carlos. You are from Tennessee.
I am.
And I think that if you're from Tennessee, you are, in my mind, I'm not saying this is.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead.
I know. I just always think that you're either from Nashville or Memphis, but I don't know. You could be from Knoxville. You could be. Tennessee is a long, skinny state. You could be from anywhere. Where are you from?
I am from Ashland City, Tennessee.
Where's that?
About 15 miles west of Nashville.
Okay. So you're from the greater Nashville area.
Sure. You want to put it, but yeah, like high school football is, huge over there too, but not as huge as it is in Texas.
Well, growing up, were you like a high school football aficionado, or what got you into sports?
It's weird. My dad's from Puerto Rico originally. My mom's from Colombia. And, they met in Puerto Rico. My dad joined the U.S. Army. They moved. He got stationed at Fort Campbell, which is like Tennessee, Kentucky.
Sure.
And that's how I ended up in Tennessee. So then I was born and raised there, and they know nothing about sports. So it was just by fate. I grew up and, they wanted me to play soccer and baseball because those were the only two sports they knew. But when I was like a little kid one time, I accidentally turned on NFL Network, and it was just playing, 70s and just the orchestra and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Oakland Raiders, John Facenda,
a big voice.
Ed Sable, Steve Sable, NFL films.
So the NFL Network was your gateway drug to sports and being a sportsaholic. Do you feel like you can stop any time, or are you an admitted addicted sports guy?
If you want to be good at something, you have to be obsessed with it.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. There's a slogan. You need to trademark that. I don't know if you have.
I've heard that a million times. I've heard it from football coaches. I've heard it from, musicians. I've heard it from.
No. You don't say that. You say, yeah, I coined that just yesterday.
Yeah, I coined that term. Yeah, I'm looking at this camera right now. That came from me.
I love it.
Coined that term.
Okay, Carlos Rosado. I have here in my hands a little piece of paper that the printer provided for me, but on it is some ink, and on the ink it creates with use of letters syntax. No, I'm out of funny things to say if I ever had any. It's a bunch of sentences, but here we go. I'm going to use this because I want you to describe what you mean. Please, Sir Carlos. You ready?
Going through this pretty quick already.
Well,
all right.
Here we are. I have heard you say or read that you wrote of yourself, Carlos is a human before he is a sports reporter. What do you mean by that?
Well, being a human is way more important. It's not about, what you do. It's more about who you are. And I always try to find the deeper meaning of everything. I'm not a sports reporter. I am a sports reporter, but I use sports to talk about life. I love life. That's my number one interest, who people are, what they like to do, what we all go through, the challenges we face, how we overcome them. And I think that's just the most important thing, because the most beautiful thing about life is to feel and be accepting of everything that you feel. And that's what I want to do. Not only do I want to be like a light on this earth and lead with compassion and positivity and just be a positive influence in this world. But, I'm not afraid to admit whenever I feel a certain type of way for things. And I just want to show that in my work, in the videos that I make, and just every day the people that I talk to. And then, I'm not there to do a job. I'm there to get to know you too. Because, people are very important. And I think that everybody has a lot more value than they think they know. There's value in every single human. And I just hope that, I know that for myself. And I want everyone else to know that too.
So, Carlos, this sounds like another set of really profound things. And I would assume you said, well, yeah, somebody taught me these. Who taught you this? Your mom and pop?
I can get deep with it, Danny. It's just that it's just something that I've always thought. I'm an old soul is what I've heard my entire life. My mom says that I'm older than her when it comes to, my head and the thoughts that I think about. But, I had 2 loving parents. I'm very lucky for that. And they taught me a lot of great lessons. They taught me about my self-worth, and they taught me about, how to treat people correctly. And so, I'm always thankful for them. And just great football coaches that I've met. And, just all of my coaches and my friends and their parents and communities that I've been able to be a part of, but especially the communities the people that I've met here in the big country. I moved to Texas by myself at 21 years old. I'm scared, but these people, everyone has really helped me out. And that's why Texas is my home. I'm forever grateful for it.
Love that. Love that. Okay. You say faith, family, and football is a lifestyle.
That's the truth.
Okay, I can break that down for us. So faith, family, and football, more than just phonetics, more than just alliteration, it really is something that you think about.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I love Texas so much, is because, I just feel that almost everywhere, so I fit in very well.
But in that order, faith, then family?
Faith, family, and football.
All
exactly.
Right.
Well, football is my favorite sport by far. I remember when I was 6 years old, and I told my parents, I said, Mom, Dad, I want to try football. And they were like, what? They couldn't believe it. They thought I was going to get hurt because I was always a small kid growing up. And they were like very reluctant. My mom was more into it than my dad. It took my dad a lot of convincing.
Well, you said they were into soccer, and that was pretty much all they were.
Soccer and baseball. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're not from. Well, my dad's from the United States, but he's from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico, I would assume it's baseball because kind of a cousin to the Dominican Republic. Baseball's a big deal, right?
Oh man,
football. Where'd that come from?
Well, my dad wanted me to be a baseball player so bad. But I couldn't hit a beach ball with a baseball bat. He was so upset. He would be so upset watching me. Like, we had 15 kids on the team, and I was the 15th hitter. And he's just like, oh, my gosh. But when it came to football, they finally agreed, after he's going to get killed. No, they finally took me. And I remember I got ran over, but I also made some tackles. And there was just something about it.
Like you were little?
Yeah, but something about being able to just, when there was a big kid running at you and you tackled the big kid because you got lower than him and he falls on the ground. There's just something about making a tackle or getting a fumble or, catching a pass was just the best.
Carlos, when I was in high school, the dominant football players were Earl Campbell, the running back for the Houston Oilers, who is from the University of Texas, East Texas, Tyler, Texas, and Eric Dickerson played for the Rams. And I have a friend that played high school football against Eric Dickerson. And my friend was from Magnolia, Texas, and Eric Dickerson was from
played for Sealy, right?
Sealy, Texas. And they played each other in high school. And my friend was the starting strong safety for Magnolia High School football. And when they played Sealy, Eric Dickerson was coming at him, and he had a moment where he thought, I'm going to tackle Eric Dickerson. And the next thing he says he remembers was looking from his backside, who was upside down, and he saw Eric Dickerson's cleats as he was on his way to like an 82-yard touchdown run. Anything like that ever happened to you?
Well, if Eric Dickerson ran at me with that golden Trans Am of his, I'd get out the way. I'm not making that tackle, that's for sure. Especially with him and his 800 football pads he had on.
But you were a small player, right?
I was small, yeah. I was a linebacker and a safety. And I also played some fullback.
You must have been pretty fast.
I like to hit. Yeah, I was more of a physical guy than a fast guy. I liked contact.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was very fun.
Describe what you mean, please, sir. My spirit animal is the Buc-ee's beaver.
That's right. Well,
I have seen you, as anyone who has been around you very long probably has, wearing a Buc-ee onesie, and it's just fantastic. I love it. You ever wear that into a Buc-ee's and get like free merchandise, Buc-ee nuggets or brisket or soda pop or anything?
No, but whenever I'm in Fort Worth or New Braunfels or wherever there's a Buc-ee's location, I have my Buc-ee's onesie ready. So I put that thing on. And I walk into Buc-ee's and I get a lot of laughs and a lot of smiles from people.
That's fantastic.
It's
You ever
awesome.
run into one of the Buc-ee's characters inside the store while you're wearing your onesie and they look at you like, "Yo, man, what are you doing?"
I've never ran into Buc-ee himself in Texas, but when I lived in Florida, he was always in the Daytona Beach one. So
There's one in Florida now. Gee whiz, man. They're
there's
everywhere.
one in almost every southern state.
They're everywhere. Okay, ready for this?
Man, I wasn't done. Every time I go to Buc-ee's,
Oh, no, come on, bring it on.
Every
Come
time
on.
I go to Buc-ee's, it's like a minimum $100 spending. Like I go all out. I got a Buc-ee sun hat. I got 2 Buc-ee sun hats. I have a corduroy Buc-ee's hat with the little beaver ears sticking on the side. Let's see. I got sweatpants. I have a football jersey.
All right, let's do a Buc-ee's tour. What's your favorite food in Buc-ee's?
I got to get the fresh brisket on the board.
No doubt about that.
Whenever they
Love
go
it.
fresh brisket on the board, yeah,
you run over there.
Peek those audio mics right there. I peaked those levels right there.
You're on
I
your
know
way.
that I did.
So, what's your favorite Buc-ee's confection or snack? The sweet stuff. I'm hanging on the wall. All those candies.
I love the beaver nuggets, but it's not my favorite thing. It's just like a staple. Got to get it, but I love beaver nugs.
All right.
Bring down those things.
Yeah,
Probably the
all right.
fudge. They have great fudge over there.
Yeah.
Banana pudding. Yeah. Great stuff.
So you're in for the merchandise, you're in for the food, you're in for the snacks, but do you ever just go and ponder life in one of those massive bathrooms they got in Buc-ee's? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think you're a philosophical
I
guy.
do more than just ponder. I'm a big philosophical guy.
Okay,
I
that's
just
what I'm
like
thinking.
thinking, but I do more than ponder.
Well, let's not get too deep into
ponder
the
in the
bathroom
urinal is what I
behavior.
do.
Let's not get too deep into the bathroom behavior.
I ponder in the urinal at Buc-ee's.
This is a family show.
that
I don't
thing
know where
clean.
we're headed here. It makes me a
Make
little
that
nervous. So just yesterday, as you well know, we hosted here a rare treat. We had the chairman of the board of Nexstar Media Incorporated, Perry A. Sook, who started Nexstar and the owner of KTAB, KRBC, BigCountryHomepage.com, Telemundo Abilene. So when you visited with him, did you ask him for extra stipend for your visits to Buc-ee's?
No, I was just gonna ask him what I should sing for the Christmas party. We all do. Yeah, he was like, he
He give you some tips?
No, but he kept talking about business stuff, and I'm only 23, man. Like I don't get most of the vocabulary.
So you were more interested in like not, if no culinary tips about Buc-ee stops, you could have asked Mr. Sook about a playlist of possible songs.
Yeah, we have a Christmas party coming up in December.
And you're big on the karaoke.
I go big on karaoke. I'm not afraid of that. So I was just gonna, he talked about all this business stuff, and he was like, "Any questions?" And I would have been like, "What do I need to sing for the Christmas party?"
If you didn't ask him this, maybe you've thought about asking your immediate supervisor, David Robinett.
Shout out D-Rob.
So do you ever talk with D-Rob about things like this, what you might ponder in a Buc-ee's bathroom or what it's like to encounter a Buc-ee's dressed up in the real Buc-ee suit while you're wearing a Buc-ee's onesie, or where you might stop if you're going to see a Cisco, is it the Cisco Lobos? Yeah, a Cisco
Big damn Lobos.
Football game, where you might stop on the way, because there's several choices. Yeah, go right ahead. I mean, look, hey, we're just on TV here, So do you ponder these things and get counsel from your immediate supervisor and mentor, D-Rob?
Yeah, D-Rob is more than just the sports director for me. I mean, yeah, he's my boss, but he's like a father figure, to be honest with you. Like I said, I like forming friendships. It's much deeper than what we do. It's who we are. But, me and D-Rob get in some deep conversations. We get into some conspiracy theories and other things. But yeah, he's hilarious. And I've loved learning from him. Definitely. Because no, you're not going to ask me what conspiracies we get into, because I'm not revealing that. That's not for this.
No, we're going to move on. Next on the sheet is, what conspiracies do you and D-Rob get into? No,
let's do it.
That's not it. Okay.
But yeah, D-Rob's amazing. I can't say, enough great stuff about him, because he gave me my very first opportunity, I've been wanting to be a sports reporter since I was 7 years old. Like this is like I'm living my dream right now,
How did you meet D-Rob? Like over the phone or through email or because you obviously visited with him prior to showing up in Abilene.
I graduated college and I applied for like 200 news stations. And I applied for KTAB, KRBC, and Manny. I got an email from Manny Diaz, who was a news director at the time, literally 2 hours after I applied. He was like, I like your stuff, man. So he gave me a call.
Cool.
I was just myself. And then the next day he was like, oh, you're going to talk to David Robinett, our sports director. And then he called me. It was a very comfortable conversation. And so I met D-Rob, I guess, over the phone first.
All right.
And then
fair enough.
I got to meet him in person when I got hired here. But
all right, describe. This is the last of the category of describe what you mean, sir. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Speaking of Carlos Rosado, he only follows God, but George Strait is pretty close.
It's pretty close. Yeah.
So you big country western fan or just a big George Strait fan?
I love old country music.
Old country.
Old country is my favorite genre.
All right. All right.
I mean, George Strait's my favorite of all time. He's the king.
Ever doing a little Randy Travis?
Randy Travis, Keith Whitley, Alan Jackson.
Now all of a sudden,
Tracy Lawrence.
Rarefied air here. So
I'm an old soul, man.
Are you thinking about one of their songs for the karaoke time at the Christmas party? Is that what Mr. Sook mentioned to you? Because Mr. Sook's also a country western fan. He listens to Willie's Roadhouse on Sirius XM radio.
Oh man,
you could have jived with him on that. Did you go on karaoke country, or what are you going to do?
Last year I sung The Chair. If you remember that.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
But I think you got my chair. I was not taken. You mind if I sit there?
Come on now.
Is that what you're going to go back to? You're dipping back into that bucket?
No, I can't sing the same song, but I remember I pulled out a chair and I sat down and I started singing it.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's classic. I wonder if there's video of that.
I don't know. It should be.
Let's make a note, Travis, our ace producer.
Yeah, I was looking at Miss Joni when I was singing it too.
Okay. Yeah, but
shout out Miss Joni.
Yeah, shout out Miss Joni, but I think Miss Joni's a married woman now, and
she is. It was just funny. It was just funny. Yeah. Right. Shout out Miss Joni for that.
Right. Okay, so here we go. Now we're in a new category. This is which one? Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're done with describe what you mean. Now you got to tell me which one and maybe expound a little bit on it. Ready? Whataburger or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is God's chicken.
But hold on a second.
I
thought your favorite.
Get the waffle fries too.
But I thought your favorite meal was. I've done deep research on you, sir. I thought your favorite meal. These are the penetrating questions that people should ask you.
Go ahead.
I thought your favorite meal was the Whataburger honey butter chicken sandwich at 2 a.m. And now you're telling me you prefer Chick-fil-A. You got to explain.
Honey butter chicken biscuits. It's a classic delicacy after 2 a.m. You hit a great night out with the fellas. You have a fun time. Where are we going to go? We're going to go to Whataburger. We're going to have ourselves a nice little honey butter chicken biscuit. So it's great stuff.
You ever consider the Allsup's world famous burrito?
Oh, yeah. I only go to Allsup's when I have to go somewhere in the morning, like an early morning shoot.
Okay.
And so I go to Allsup's, get the coffee. Some guy put me on to Allsup's coffee.
They've got the fantastic coffee in the back. I wish they were a sponsor. I really do. Do. So you love Whataburger, but you love Chick-fil-A more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's Jesus' chicken.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So I'm just curious. If you're driving down the highway, you want a burger, and neither of those places is available. Of course, Chick-fil-A is not really a burger. You want a sandwich. There's no Chick-fil-A. There's no Whataburger. And here's your choices. I'm just curious, which are you going to stop at? A little Texas town Dairy Queen or like a mom and pop burger place?
Yeah, definitely a mom and pop place.
But
support local business.
Queen? But who doesn't love a Dairy Queen?
I love Dairy Queen, yeah.
What
I love about West Texas is not only does all these little towns I get to go to look like time machines, but also the Dairy Queens are so old too. Like they still
fantastic too.
Yeah. And they're great.
Yes.
There's a Dairy Queen in Abilene, and I think there's a Dairy Queen in Cross Plains. I haven't been to that one yet, but
oh man, that's one of the best.
Yeah. Shout out Cross Plains.
Yeah. Shout out Cross Plains. You go in the front door, and in the back, there's the bathroom. It's not as big as the Buc-ee's bathroom, though. I want to warn you in case you go.
A lot of pondering is done.
Yeah, if you have any thought. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you this. You love to go to these towns in Texas. You go to Brownwood and you choose Underwoods, I'm assuming. But what about if you go to Clyde, the Pizza House?
The Haas.
And which would you, if they're not side by side, okay. No. They're a long distance from one another. But if you chose, which one would you choose? Underwoods in Brownwood or the Pizza House in Clyde?
Underwoods is my favorite place in the big country, my favorite restaurant.
Well, okay, that settles it then.
The ribs fall off the bone. You could even eat the bone too. That's
really? I'm not familiar with that.
I'm addicted to the fried chicken. I'm addicted to the peach cobbler.
There's probably a lot of good calcium and protein both in that bone marrow there for you to eat the bones.
I load up that tray. They give me a tray.
I've heard that your art form in loading up a tray is unparalleled in the Western world. People compare you to the great artists of the Louvre and the great masters of architect, all those wild buildings in London, that your work in the loading up a tray compares favorably to both.
Oh, man.
Is that true?
Yeah, but, I get, I pay for it with the price, so
and
I can build that thing as high as I want, but, that lady tells me how much it costs.
Down at the register, you got to pay for it. That's where going with D-Rob might come in handy. All right, so Tennessee or Texas? Which one?
Texas, yeah.
But you love Tennessee.
I was born and raised in Tennessee. I have a great respect for it.
Yeah.
But I love it here. I'm so comfortable here. I'm very grateful. I found God here. That was the most important thing. So.
Okay. And that's a serious conversation we're going to talk about in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that it's probably a lot of fun,
but
too.
I can shout out everybody that I've met here, and we would be here for a very long time. So I don't know if you want me to do that, so I won't do that. But a lot of great people here in the big country. I'm very grateful. I just feel like some reporters, they're like, oh, I'm going to be here for 2 years, and I'm going to go for higher waters. Like, one thing that when I first got here, Coach Sam Nichols told me, you are the big time. And wherever you go, treat it like it's the most important thing.
That's great advice.
One of the best things I've ever heard. So I always think about that. But the people that I've got to meet here, everybody, like I'm very grateful. This place gave me my first opportunity, and I get to tell cool stories about cool people. And I just love it. I feel very comfortable here. And my home isn't Texas. It's not Tennessee. It's not Florida. My home is really just where I am at the time. But because I want to make where I'm at my home.
I love it.
But yeah, if I could live in a state for the rest of my life, it'd be Texas.
The wit and wisdom of Carlos Rosado. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You said football is your favorite sport. So we're going to go to some lesser sports and ask you which one, baseball or basketball?
Baseball.
All right.
I was locked in the World Series. That was one of the best World Series I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
2 extra inning games.
Stayed
the Dodgers
up.
Won both. You a big Dodgers fan?
No, I'm actually a Yankees fan. Yeah.
I love it. It's okay.
No, I'm not ashamed of it.
Everybody should have a team.
I am an obnoxious Yankees fan.
And
I'll let you know.
You come by that from an early age?
Derek Jeter is my favorite baseball player ever.
Well, who doesn't love Derek Jeter? Even people that don't like the Yankees love Derek. They have to love Derek Jeter.
I had a poster on my wall. Had a jersey when I grew up. Like that was Captain America for me.
I think of Derek Jeter as kind of Captain America in a way,
Literally.
Yeah, he's just. I guess I didn't coin that. I've heard that before, but yeah. Okay, here we go. If you were going to go out and play a round of golf, or somebody said, no, let's go out and play a round of Frisbee golf, which would you choose?
I mean, I'm very terrible at both. I think I'd
You're not just terrible. You're very
terrible.
You're very terrible.
Let's
emphasize this.
I don't
you are
golf.
Very terrible.
Yeah, I'm very terrible, but that's okay. A lot of people are very terrible at things, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to look at this camera. I want to see if TC was going to punch the button and show me staring at this camera right here.
Yeah, I'm TC's on his game.
It depends on
TC is over there. He's punching. He's got you.
Yeah, look at him over there smiling.
Yeah,
I told him I want him to crack. I'm gonna make him laugh. I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
You can't.
We keep moving
If the
on.
camera was on him, it would see a stoic, solemn-faced TC. He's over there. You can't make him laugh.
Yeah, look at that. Look at those white teeth showing over
So let me
there.
ask you this:
But- but-
have you ever seen one of those crazy sports
I
that we
guess I'd
see
go
on
golf.
TV, where there's one where it's like professional chase? I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they literally chase each other around a room full of obstacles.
Oh, tag?
Is that the game?
Yeah,
Tag?
it's like
So
professional
would
tag.
you like to play that game?
Yeah, why not?
So you would choose that over frisbee golf or golf? You think?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You know,
All right. And would you do it while singing?
because I'm gonna be honest, I don't have fun golfing. Golfing's not my thing. And
Okay.
frisbee golf, I don't know, something about the relaxing, slow pace, leisure, just rich old dudes. It's not my thing.
A lot of rich old dudes play frisbee golf. Oh, we're talking about golf.
Yeah, golf.
Okay,
But
okay.
then just frisbee
Right.
golf too. I'm just not a fan of
Yeah, but look, you
I
know,
can take it slow.
but you will acknowledge there are really wonderful experiences to
Oh,
be
yeah.
had out in nature, wandering around on the golf course.
Absolutely.
Like David Bacon, he golfs all the time, and that guy, he takes long walks into the woods looking for his golf balls.
Yeah.
So I think he's actually a pretty good golfer.
That's how much. that's what I-
NASCAR or Formula One? Which one? This is the last either or question for you. Ready? NASCAR or Formula One?
Dale Earnhardt's my favorite driver ever.
You're from Tennessee.
The
How is this even a
Intimidator.
pause?
No, it's NASCAR. It's a pause because I don't watch both often,
Okay.
but I know a lot more about NASCAR than I do Formula One. I'm gonna go with NASCAR because I'm American. So
Okay. All right. I will tell you, our mutual friend Tim Smith, he got me watching Formula One a few years ago, and I got into it for a short period of time. I'm not as into it now, but it's interesting. But I would probably, not that you're asking me, but I would probably go, of those two, Formula One. I'm not huge into either one, but our brand here, because Nexstar Media Incorporated owns the CW, and CW is home to NASCAR. So
yeah.
we'll just give a shout out to NASCAR.
I like NASCAR because, Senior is my favorite driver ever, and then Junior is my other favorite driver ever. But when I was a little kid watching Talladega Nights, which is one of my favorite movies of all time,
Is that Ricky Bobby?
Ricky Bobby, yeah. Ricky Bobby, Cal Naughton Jr., Shake and Bake, baby.
Yeah.
And Dale Jr. is in the movie. That's how he became my favorite driver, was just because my second favorite, because he was on Talladega Nights.
I as we talk about Talladega Nights, I'm just thinking of Will Ferrell, and personality wise, you're a little bit like Will Ferrell in some ways. You're just a funny guy, but you're a thoughtful guy, contemplative. I don't know that that's true of Will Ferrell. I suspect it is, but I've heard you say that behind the whistle and beneath the shoulder pads, there's a person, and that's really what sports coverage is for you. And as one of our personalities on bigcountryhomepagesports.com, I got to just give you this chance. What do you think is the essence of sports? What's the most important part?
The essence of sports is about the life lessons you learn that young men and young women can take to them in the real world and become great sons and daughters and great wives and great husbands and even better fathers and even better mothers. That's what this world is all about. That's what's the essence of sports is.
So if I'm watching this podcast or I'm listening to this podcast on one of our audio channels, I'm thinking, boy, this has been a really interesting conversation. I'm thinking it's about to come to an end.
Yeah.
But what I wouldn't know is that I have saved the most interesting question for the last.
What's
There's
that?
a story that I've got to get you to tell. Now, I know there's a long, long version. I'm looking for the more Cliff Notes version, but still it's an important story. And it's the story of the kayak
Ooh.
on Possum Kingdom Lake. What happened?
It was July 2024. It was the first time I have ever been to Possum Kingdom. And so I wanted to kayak that day. That's one of my big hobbies. And I'm going to keep it real. I lived here for about 7-8 months now. I was lonely. One thing you have to learn as an adult in the real world is how to be at peace by yourself and enjoy your own company, because you're just around friends for most of your life until you hit that part of your life. But
and to be clear, you had moved from Tennessee to Texas by yourself.
I was in college in Florida, so I moved from Florida all the way to
Okay, you're Winter Park,
Texas.
Florida, at Full Sail University. You come all the way to Texas. You don't know anybody. You're meeting a few people. A few months later, you say, you know what? I'm going to get into kayaking. Maybe you're already into kayaking, but I'm going to go to Possum Kingdom Lake. So, and I think what you just said is so profound. You got to learn how to do that. It's important. Not everybody does.
No.
So you're out there kayaking.
I'm out there kayaking, and I'm having a great time. But then the sun goes down. I'm terrible with directions. I need the GPS everywhere that I drive, except for like some places. But the sun goes down, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll go back to my truck. I know where I'm at. I don't know why I keep putting myself in these positions when I'm terrible at directions. The sun goes down. You know, I was listening to I Told You So by Randy Travis. It was beautiful. Got a little tear down my eye. But it got dark, and I realized, oh, I don't know where I am. So I got stranded. And so I just, I docked somewhere at like a campsite, and I walked for a little bit, and I found this cabin, and there was this family playing dominoes, and this dog barked at me. And so when the dog barked at me, that's when the family knew that there was just this strange dude out there just needing help. And so
In the dark,
it was like probably sun goes down at around 8 in the summer.
Were you dragging your kayak?
No, I left my kayak by the lake. I just, parked it. And then
Good, because had you been
walking.
dragging your kayak, they would have thought, what the heck's going
that
on?
would have been
here?
weird.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, it's all good. They see me, and I go, can you guys help me find my truck, please? And, they were very nice. They helped me they tried to help me, realize that we couldn't find it. So they invited me in to eat some food and play dominoes with them. And they were like, you're going to have to spend the night with us, And so they gave me a sleeping bag. But, before I spent the night on this wooden cabin floor on this sleeping bag, we got to talking, and, they told me where I was from. I told them that I lived in Abilene, and they're like, what do you do? I'm a sports reporter for KTAB KRBC. And they're like, oh, we live in Merkel. Yeah, we know about KTAB. Old Bob Bartlett's been there for, X amount of years. And so we got to know each other, and I slept the night on the cabin, in the sleeping bag on the floor, and didn't get any sleep at all. But
well, because you're hoping these people are kind people, and it's not one of these movies that you see, right?
Yeah.
And they're hoping this guy's a kind guy and not one of these movies that we see. But it worked out beautifully. Because,
it was weird. I trusted them, and I felt comfortable around them. So the next morning, I didn't get a lick of sleep, but I finally get service on my phone, find out I'm an hour away from my truck. So shout out the Miller family, by the way, if you're watching this. But yeah, so the guy I met, Ernest, he kayaks with me back to my truck after we find where it is. And this was like an hour-long kayak thing. So yeah, and we finally get to my truck, and he invites me to his church. He was like, hey, Carlos, if you ever want to come to Trent, we go to Trent Church of Christ and all of that. And he prayed for me, and it was very cool. And I drove to work. I drove 2 hours back to this building and worked a whole 8-hour shift. And I just thought about it. So then I was like, I'll take them up on their offer. They gave me a place to sleep. So I started going to church with them, and I just kept doing it over and over. They go to a different church now, but like after going with them and staying there, got my pastor, Freddie Famble, over there. Great guy, very supportive. And the Beaver family over there too. And like 8 months go by, and I decided to give my life to Jesus Christ. And ever since then, best decision I ever made. So God works in mysterious ways.
It all started because God was whispering in your ear, suppose I called you up tonight and told you that I loved you. Would you row your kayak across Possum Kingdom and meet these friends of mine?
Yeah, something like that. So I told you so,
Yeah, I told you. You were listening to it.
I was listening to it.
And now God says, told you so. Mm-hmm. It's a great story. And I think it speaks to how genuine you are. I think it speaks to your transparent love of life and your trust. I love that story. It's one of my favorites. I think of it often, and I mean that sincerely. I don't know if I've ever told you that. Once I heard that story, I think about it not all the time, but quite often, because I think that's life. You know, we live our life and it's punctuated by things that we can't necessarily explain or moments that become transcendent. And I think yours, even at your young age, is, I don't know that it's full of those moments, but I think that you've had plenty of them. And I think that you're a very memorable character. Working in this building, I work every year with someone new and someone who leaves. And you don't always remember the faces, much less the stories. We'll always remember Carlos Rosado. And who knows?
Right on.
Who knows? You know, how long has D-Rob been here?
30-something years.
Who knows?
35.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? So, yeah, I love it. I love it.
They're always like, man, you get in the weirdest things. You know, I told my mom the story when I was driving home. It was like 7 a.m. I'm driving home. Like, Mom, you will not believe what just happened to me. And she's just like, you have zero survival skills. You are going to die one day. You need to stop kayaking alone. You need to stop. But I was like, yeah, but when I get lost, these awesome things happen to me. She's like, stop. If you think like that, you're going to get yourself killed. And I was like, all right, Mom, whatever, man.
All right, so let's make sure of one thing. You do kayak wearing a life vest?
I do.
Yeah, going across that
Stay
lake.
safe.
That's a big lake. And when he went across the lake with you to find your truck, was he in another kayak, or you have a 2-seater kayak?
No, he had his own kayak.
Okay. So he kayaks with you. Okay, it's just a great story. All right. So full transparency.
I got other stories too, but yeah, we don't need to tell those.
Yeah, well, and
you know that
one would be that you beat me this weekend in our fantasy football league.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow you got a powerhouse team.
I didn't set my lineup. I had
but you had 2 running backs that went off.
Yeah, I don't know why y'all let me have H and Gibbs on the same team.
That's crazy.
Not fair at all.
All right.
But I'm 5
Carlos Rosado, what a fun conversation.
What a fun conversation.
Thanks for being here on the
problem.
podcast.
No problem.
You, sir, are a scholar and a gentleman, an interesting storyteller, a fantastic Buc-ee's aficionado, a connoisseur of fine late-night food, a gentleman that knows how to eat a rib bone, and someone who was lost but is now found, we might say.
Right on. Right on.
All right, Carlos Rosado, thanks for being here, our guest today.
They're going to put me on the news. Am I going to be on KTAB or KRBC or KTAB for you?
I think across the board, I think there's a high likelihood that this will be a must-see podcast.
I'll see a little clip on Facebook here in a couple hours, TC. You better get on that, man.
There'll be no question about that. And speaking of TC, a big shout out to Travis Corrigan, our ace producer here on BigCountryHomepage.com, Abilene People Podcast.
Always.
I'm your host, Danny Sims. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us. Have a great one.
Stay well, everyone.
Suppose I called you. Wait, no, let's see if we can harmonize. You sing the lead, I'll do the harmony. Ready?
All right. Suppose I called you up tonight and told you that I love you.
I'm having a hard time hearing it. Suppose I called you up tonight. Let's just sing it, and I'll break off in a harmony when I can. Sorry.
Okay.
Just drop it again.
Suppose I called you up tonight and told you that I loved you. And suppose I said I want to come back home. And suppose I cried and said I think I finally learned my lesson. And I'm tired of sitting.
Hey, it was going so good.
Yeah, I'm tired of spending all my time alone.
Yeah, I like it. All right, that's it. Let's shut it down.
I got it.